Your Women's Holy Day, Maiden-to-MotherFire, Sacred Female Blood. Sunday, May 4th, 2052, 25. And the sacred space is made ready to receive the women. Naiad Priestess Marcia has prepared the offering of rose petals for the women gathering in circle today. Ava also welcomes the women to circle. And the evil genius Devi has solemnly vowed to be a gracious representative of Bastet for this holy ritual. Our circle's intention: to rewrite and reclaim our women's blood mysteries for our own benefit and for that of our daughters. Men bleed to death. Women bleed to life. The blood mysteries of woman: birth, menstruation, giving birth, lactation, menopause, and death. From the great book by Judy Grahn, Blood, Bread, and Roses, How Menstruation Created the World. The menstrual rituals were the first rituals, and they were women's. Men later copied and transformed them into their own rituals of hunting, of war, and of initiation, where men began to bleed symbolically or literally in imitation of women's real blood. Men took over the power of blood by substituting the blood of war, circumcision, and sacrifice for the blood of menstruation and women's childbirth. In later patriarchal cultures, menstrual blood was made taboo, hidden, and feared by men, while their male blood rituals, swords and crucifixions, animal sacrifice, were exalted and made sacred. Christianity focuses on the sacred wound of Jesus, and the symbolism looks exactly like representations of the vulva. Medieval art shows the lance wound of Jesus as a vertical slit, gaping, fleshy, moist, red, and dripping blood. The comparison could not be any clearer. This is the co-opting of woman's power for life, directly transferred to a male deity. Some theologians say this is a portal, the place from which the church is born, just as life is born from woman. This attempts to present the male as having the same generative power as the female. This is a patriarchal reversal, and we, the women, are not deceived. Why did she title her book Blood, bread, and roses. Blood, menstruation, the origin of ritual. As women kept time with the lunar cycles and created ceremony to affirm their consciousness of cycles and renewal, menstrual blood was considered sacred, not shameful. The first religious and cultural practices were based on menstruation's rhythms and symbolism. Bread symbolizes sustenance and the early development of agriculture. Gran connects women's menstrual cycles and associated rituals to the discovery of planting, the domestic hearth, and food preparation. She suggests that the knowledge and innovation that led to stable food sources were culturally tied to menstruation and women's roles. Roses stand for beauty, sensuality, and ceremonial life. The rose is both a symbol of the vulva and of menstrual blood in color and form, and reflects how early ritual life included aesthetic expression, reverence, and communal celebration centered around the life giver, the female body. Blood, bread, and roses reminds us that women's biological and ritual relationship with menstruation shaped early religion, society, culture, civilization, myth, long before patriarchal systems inverted or tried to erase that origin. The goddess of La Salle is a 25,000-year-old carving on the wall of a cave near La Salle, France. The 13 notches on the bison horn she holds depict one of the earliest known examples of symbolic counting by humans. She is counting her lunar cycle, or menses. Women marking their menses is the first known counting by humans. Women were the first timekeepers, using their bodies as guides. Even older, and much less well known, is the Lebombo bone. Found in South Africa, the baboon fibula bone is 44,000 years old and has 29 notches, closely matching a woman's monthly cycle. This is known as the oldest form of counting on tally sticks, all originally made by women. Just imagine a woman 44,000 years ago coming up with this brilliant idea to keep track of her cycle. Our great teacher, Vajrama, great teacher and colleague and good friend, teaches us that the female body is the original source of wisdom, the original and truest Bible known to human beings. And she says, the body never lies. Ancient indigenous cultures had, and some still do, first moon ceremonies to honor the young girl coming into womanhood. The Diné, the Navajo, have their Kinalda rite, running long distances together, all the girls together, as proof of endurance, ritual hair combing, baking corn cake, and they're modeling their ideal womanhood after changing woman, the Diné goddess. In India, the Tamil have the Samskara rite. The girl wears a sari for the first time, and she receives gifts, and she's honored in a family gathering. The Apache of Southwest U.S. has the sunrise ceremony, dancing and chanting, and they paint the girls with pollen being a symbol of fertility and generation. They have blessing ceremonies, and this is connected to White Painted Woman, the Apache goddess. Zaramo in Tanzania, the Zaramo people, they have their Unyago rites, which involve seclusion of the girl, instruction in womanhood, dance, and music. The Ainu, which are the indigenous people of Japan, have their Ayamante customs rite. These are rituals tied very much to nature and spiritual guidance, and instruction by elder women on sacred communion with spirits. The Ticuna in the Amazon basin in Brazil have what they call the Palazón rite. This is one of the most elaborate seclusion-based rituals in the world, and the girl could remain secluded for many, many months. Her hair is cut, her body is painted, and ritual dances are performed. In Bali, they have a puberty rituals rite, energetic cleansing, making offerings, family blessings received, and a focus on emotional discipline, because that's what a young girl needs to have to become a woman, emotional discipline. In ancient Greece, the Arctea at Brauron, the rite there, the little girls served as little bears, Arctoi, at Artemis's sanctuary, bears being sacred to Artemis. And there was dancing, and there was ritual nudity and yellow robes, sacred theater, and the focus was transition from wild girlhood to civilized womanhood. Our modern culture has no common ritual to honor young girls becoming a woman. We must ask ourselves, what have we missed as girls and women because of this? How differently would you feel about yourself if you had experienced an honoring ritual at your first moon? Think back to your first moon time. How did you experience it? What did you feel? Did your family handle it well or badly? Some girls have good experiences with their mother, telling them good things, supportive things, but many girls are shamed. Many girls are afraid, fearful of exposure, embarrassment. Some of them are confused because they're not given any helpful information. At this point in the service, we took a few minutes for the women to tell their stories of how they experienced their first moon time. Girls are starting their moon time younger and younger, and no one is entirely certain why, but some of the reasons proposed are endocrine disruptors in plastics, pesticides, and meat and milk and pollutants in our food. Our hypersexualized culture could contribute to this because there is some science to show that stress can cause early puberty. Early development is shown to be an adaptive response to unsafe and unstable environments. The girl has to grow up quickly to deal with what's happening to her. The third reason given is obesity and lack of exercise. Even though a girl might not look fat, if she doesn't exercise the way normal young girls should, she can have a lot of adipose tissue, even though she's looks slender on the outside. And this adipose tissue holds hormones and can contribute to starting her moon time much too early. We have to allow 12-year-old girls to remain the children they are until they are 16 or 17. We must not allow this male-centric, porn-driven culture to push them into early sexuality. Given what you now know, if it was not handled well for you, what would you like to have had in your honoring ceremony? What do you think could have been said to you that would have been clear and supportive, uplifting, and honoring? This is the time to reclaim the honoring of your moontime self. Ask yourself, what would you, as a wise adult, now say to your young girl self just coming into her moontime? And in our ceremony, we asked the women to write 1 to 3 sentences of helpful words that their adult self, their wise woman self, could now speak to their young self. And they took a space of time. We had about 5 minutes, and Priestess Mata led the virtual circle in putting their helpful statements, their honoring statements in the chat, and women in the material circle put theirs in a bowl on the altar. And we read each other's statements. Mata read the virtual circle's words, and they were so beautiful. And Naiad Priestess Marcia lit our red moontime candles on the altar as the words were spoken. There's an old saying, if your mother gave more love than she got, then thank her and appreciate her. If your mother handled your first moon better than her mother did for her, then appreciate and thank her, even if it was not perfect or complete. And if she did not handle it better, then bless her anyway if you can, remembering the difficult patriarchal world she grew up in. Quantum physicists now agree, time is an illusion. There is no objective time. All time, all events are happening now. You can choose to be a victim of your past treatment, or you can choose to be a magical, powerful woman. You cannot be both. We do not deny that negative events have occurred. We simply choose not to allow ourselves to be forever defined by them. We feel our feelings, we let them run through us like a river. Then we let go and we move on in strength. We rewrite our moontime history now and benefit from that rewriting now and for what we call the future. We allow the new framing to be absorbed by the cells of our present-day body. And we took a moment to stop and go into a brief meditation, allowing this new information that we had just heard from all the wise women, as if it was our own honoring ceremony. We allowed all of that to be absorbed by our watery cells, all 3 trillion of them in our bodies, in circle. We choose to be powerful, magical, creative, sovereign women. It is so, it is so, it is so, and so it is. We offered a prayer for girls of the world. Priestess Mata led us in prayer, and we rose during the prayer and we held the red threads of wisdom from the altar for our next generation of girls. The circle's intention was then fulfilled. We rewrote and reclaimed our women's blood mysteries for our own benefit and for that of our daughters. We thank the wise women priestesses who have contributed either in their writings or their classes and seminars or their private conversations to this wonderful ceremony for May Day, for sacred female blood, Sandy Limina, Vajrama, Ruth Barrett, Mata, and Ava. Thank you for the inspiration and wisdom contributing to our circle today. Blessed be the women holding the red thread of wisdom.
With me, she is the cloud.